Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm gonna do a swipe today, but not a negative space swipe. So let me put some pillow paint down and I'll show you the colors. I really should have primed this. So, prime your wood, but I didn't have it primed and I wanted to paint tonight. So I taped the bottom and we're just gonna take some chances. Let me open up my pillow paint. It's kind of stuck. Okay, sorry about that. It was stuck. So I'm using Color Place from Walmart, the bright white satin, as my pillow paint or house paint. I like it for swipes. And it's economical, so you can't really beat that. I've only done a swipe like this once, and it was a Beatles back swipe, and it happened to turn out great. But I do get a little nervous sometimes adventuring. So I used a little bit more pillow paint than I might normally because I want to make sure we can easily cover the edges. This lid does not want to go back on here very easily. I'm using an old Peanuts container for my pillow paint. So let me show you my colors that I'm going to use. I saw a bloom with these colors and I thought, I bet that would be really pretty with a swipe. With some, they weren't all the same colors, but with some minor modifications, because obviously I'm not using the same colors, and I'm going to do a swipe, not a bloom, so it's very different. But I've been wanting to use silver cell activator because I haven't done one in a while or used it in a while, and so I'm going to use silver and blue black together, and I'm trying to pop this bubble in my pillow paint without whacking this down on the table, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Nope, that did not pop it. My husband's taking a test, so I really don't need to be noisy right now. All right, so let's just go for it and deal with the bubbles in a little bit. I might actually be able to get it with a toothpick. So I'm going to use the dual cell activator. I'm still going to swipe it with a palette knife, but I'm gonna try to swipe the whole thing instead of just the negative space. So let's see if this works. A couple of my colors are a little thin, so I'm hoping that it's gonna work anyway. So just one stubborn little bubble. Let's just hope that it resolves itself. So I'm gonna use, I realized my camera was so crooked, sorry about that. I'm going to use golden Phthalo turquoise. I'm going to use one of the new Prizm Pour colors called Neptune's Gaze. Beautiful color. Golden teal. This is one of them that's mixed up a little thin, but I left it open for a little while. And then this is called Evergreen from the new Summer Sequins set from Primary Elements. This is one of my colors that's mixed up a little thin. So I hope, I tried to thicken it up a little bit. Just found a globby in here, I think. I'm not sure. Thought I found like a little piece of something. Then I'm going to use oh my gosh, I'm having like a major, let me get the name of this in my head. One sec. Sorry, I had to go look at the container I had had like a moment where I couldn't remember the name. This is Arabian Sea, also from the Summer Sequins set. Beautiful color. And then I'm gonna put this phthalo blue on the top. This one keeps thickening up a little bit, so I think I'm just gonna drizzle it. I keep thinning it down with a little Jo Sonja water, but I left these open for a little bit, so that's my fault. So, and then I'm gonna use Atelier Silver and Atelier Blue Black as a cell activator. So let's get started, huh? I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. I'm gonna put a nice puddle of golden phthalo turquoise down. I really want to have a pretty big target because I'm gonna swipe in the center and kind of make my way out. So I know it seems like I'm doing a whole lot, but I want to make sure that there's plenty of paint. So there we go. Probably gonna have to mix up more of this anyway. I'm just gonna go ahead and use it all because this is a transparent color, so as it swipes out over the other colors, it's going to lighten up just a little bit, which is fine, but I want to have a good color base. So I'm just gonna, and who doesn't love golden phthalo turquoise or turquoise phthalo or whatever? It's a beautiful color. And my turner always wants to favor one side, and I'm still trying to figure out why. So, all right, Neptune's Gaze, beautiful color, absolutely beautiful color. You might hear my dogs snoring. They have a really hard life of doing nothing all day, so they snore a lot. But they're precious. So Neptune's Gaze. I really love this color so much. And now we're gonna do Teal by Golden. I'm gonna try to put this kind of, Golden's teal is a beautiful color, but it tends to take over. So I'm gonna try to put it like where we have some white peeking through versus giving it its own puddle. I'm just gonna drizzle it a little bit. Okay, and then Evergreen. I don't want the green to take over. I want it to be kind of an accent. So I'm gonna drizzle it. Plus it's mixed a little bit thin, so I wanna be careful that I don't have a big puddle of it because I don't want it to impact our cell activator from giving us good, nice little cells and lacing. So, but it's a beautiful complement to these colors. Okay. Making a mess. And now we're going to do Arabian Sea. Pop a couple bubbles. If this turns out like I can see it in my head, it's going to be really pretty. That doesn't always happen. In fact, that rarely happens, but let's hope it happens today. Okay, Arabian Sea. I'm going to drizzle this one a little bit too. It's a truly beautiful color. I like that it's sort of like a frosty blue, but it's like a light blue-green at the same time. I'm a big fan of this color. All right. And then we're gonna drizzle the phthalo blue on the top of all of this. And I'm making a humongous mess, just humongous. I'm just moving this out of the way as I go. I'm going to drizzle this because I don't have a ton of it left, and I also don't want it to hide all of the color underneath. So I was going to use Prussian blue at the top, but then I'm using a blue, black, and silver cell activator, and I was afraid it would be too much dark blue all in one spot. So I've had this in this cup for a while, so I thought, well, let's go ahead and just use that up instead of mixing up more Prussian blue, because I just used all my Prussian blue the other day. And then we'll see what happens. So I've been debating on to put the silver on the top or the blue on the top. I mean, essentially they're gonna mix a little bit anyway. So I think I'm gonna put the blue on the top and the silver on the palette knife first, because whatever color you put on the top is the color that's gonna go on last, because we're gonna load the palette knife, you know? So I think the silver will peek through very nicely, and I kind of know how the blue-black performs. I know the silver cell activator is wonderful, I just haven't used it in a while, and I use blue-black all the time, so. All right, so I'm going to use my Colourarte palette knife, and I'm going to try to show you before I flip this over, but I'm going to basically cover this with the blue black and then drizzle the silver on it. See, I cover it, smear it on pretty evenly with my finger, kind of like finger painting this thing. I might have put too much on there, actually. So just even that out a little bit, and then I'm going to drizzle some of the silver. My dogs are snoring, sorry about that. They're professional snoring dogs. And I've already got pillow paint dripping off the sides over here. I hope everyone is having a good day. Okay, so here I have, this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna go like this. Spin it around. So not the best job there, but I think it's gonna be okay. There's a couple parts that might need a little help, so we're gonna give it a second to develop. I'm gonna try to blow some of these parts out right here. I'm tempted to see if I can't help them a little bit. Like there's this part right here. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm trying to help these parts that I didn't do the greatest job on the swipe by taking a smaller palette knife and maybe putting a little cell activator over it to see if I can't smooth it out a little bit. The other parts look amazing. Look at this. And this part kind of needs a little attention. not perfect. But I think we can help it out a little bit. And there's cells still popping through here, so I'm not gonna freak out about a couple ribbony looking lines because I think I can help that a little bit. Okay, and this doesn't bother me too much. We can always take a wrecking stick and make that look intentional. Once we spin this out, a lot of these places will look like they're supposed to look like that. But woo, do I love the colors. They're so beautiful. And I kind of think of these parts where we don't have a perfect swipe as like the swells of an ocean or something where you might see some crests of water. I am still going to try to help it a little bit, but very gently because I don't want to mess it up. By the same token, I don't want to lose some of these cells that keep trying to fly off the side over here. So I'm just very gently coming across this with Cell Activator, and it's kind of creating some pillow cells. Well, not pillow cells because it's going over the paint. Oh, my hand is not steady enough for that. There we go. Just helping it along a little bit. Now I'd like to try to get it right here. I don't know if I can quite get it, but let's see. Should help a little bit anyway. Let's try one more time. I'm just getting a little bit of the Cell Activator on here because this is going to expand as we spin. So I want to help it blend a little better. And this right here could maybe use a little help. I almost dipped this house paint right into my Cell Activator. Okay. I feel like I'm like on a time crunch here, you know? Let's see. There's this like giant cell that I'm trying to soften a little bit right here, but I think it will still look okay. So these places where I added this in the middle, they might have softened that white part, but they certainly didn't cover it up. So we're just going to embrace the funky parts. I think I have tried to soften a couple of them, but I think at this point we're going to have to just embrace them. It's hard to kind of support them and get them to go in all in one direction. Okay, so I'm going to pop a couple bubbles that are more noticeable, that look like they'll be troublesome as they dry. And we're going to give it a light spin and see what happens. I really love these colors together. I don't know how well you can see the shine and the detail. I love this part right here. We're going to lose a lot of that, unfortunately. That's the bummer about some of this stuff, is some of the best parts always fly off the edge. Never fails. But ooh, I love the colors together. So beautiful. Okay, I'm going to gently spin, just gently, and see what we get. I know I'm going to have to get a decent amount off of here, but I don't want to rush it and mess up the composition. And that opened up some bubbles to be popped. I really love this. Even the funky parts, I'm starting to like them. I want to do more of these to just get better at swiping over the whole canvas, you know, but you make one wrong twist with your wrist and you can really mess it up. So I love that it's not so predictable, but I also don't love that because it could easily get messed up. Oh, I don't want to lose this stuff that's going to fly off over here. So the edges are mostly covered except for right over here, so I'm going to help it a little bit. And we're obviously going to lose some more. The place where we could stand to lose a little bit more is right here, but I'm afraid to tilt too much because we're going to get wonky cells if we do that, especially having already spun. So, man, do I have a lot of bubbles or what? That's not normal. I think it's because I thinned down a couple of the paints with Jo Sonja and water. Jo Sonja is wonderful, but it does produce some bubbles. I still prefer it over any other varnish I've used. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I absolutely love the colors, and I'm super glad I used a lot of the Phthalo Turquoise because I feel like it gave us a really nice base layer. And the places where I kind of helped this over here, it seemed to have helped, and this one funky white part really isn't as big of a problem as I thought it would be. Okay, we got to get more paint off as much as it pains me to spin more of this off. Oh my gosh, I don't want to lose anymore. Might take my chances on how much paint we leave on here, because like the best tiny parts have already come off. And I don't want it to crack, but I don't want to lose any more. It's like the composition is kind of right at where I want it to be now. So, I mean, we've got quite a bit off. When I go like this, it's not like jiggly. So I might take my chances. But man, if it cracks, I'm gonna cry. But I sure don't want to lose more if we don't have to. This is a thick pillow though, so sometimes it cracks if you don't get enough off. It's a really great pillow, but it's thick. I've never had it crack on a wood board unless I was painting over something else. I have had it crack on canvases before if I left too much paint on, but not a wood board. So I might be okay. Man, I don't want to spin anymore. I have such really cool movement right here, and if I spin any more, I'm gonna lose some of it. I gotta spin just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I just want to increase this is one bad thing about using too much pillow paint to begin with, and I did use too much. I wanted to have enough to cover the edges, but I didn't want to have to hyper spin to get enough paint off. So I've told you guys before that I struggle with using too much pillow paint. It's one of my opportunities and I'm working on it. But I lost some of my pretty tiny cells because I had to spin so much, but I still think it's gorgeous. I'm gonna try to stop it right here. The edges are all covered. It's not wiggling a whole lot on the top. So I'm gonna try to clean up, pop a couple bubbles and bring you down for a close-up. You wouldn't believe how much paint I have on my hands. Since I didn't prime this board, I'm also gonna make sure it's not air bubbling on the sides. If it is, I wanna try to pop those bubbles if that is the case. The one thing I will say about this pillow paint, as much as I adore it, is I do get flocculation on the sides sometimes, only on the sides for the most part. And that's just simply because the paint is so thick. So that pigment's trying to hold together, and the paint, pigments, etc., It's trying to hold together against that paint on the bottom that's so thick. So that's the only downside I've really had for this Color Place pillow, is because it is such a nice thick pillow paint. Sometimes, every once in a while, I get that flocculation on the sides just because of how thick it is. So, all right, I have a couple bubbles to take care of, so let me do that. Pause you guys, and then I'll bring you down for a close-up. Oh, I'm excited. All right, everybody, let me bring you down for a close-up so you can see the beautiful colors. And I have a little bit too much bright light in here, so I kind of have to get right over the color so you can see it. But aren't those colors just beautiful together? Here's that one weird white part, but it kind of works. The silver is very subtle, like you can see it surrounding some of these cells, but it's not a very bright pop of silver, so it kind of really works. So pretty. The shimmer and the depth of color is so beautiful. I'm really excited about this one. I had a lot of bubbles to pop. And you know, it's not perfect, but I very rarely have a piece that is perfect. I love the movement in it, you know? Like, I love this part. I love this part. I love this. We lost a lot of it on the sides, but I just really like it. I hope that you do too. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget, you can save 20% off of anything on the Colourarte website using my code Mandy1120. It's in the description box below as well. And I also have a discount code for Pixel Paint Designs where I get my Australian Floetrol and my Boom Gel Stain. So don't forget to check out the description box below. I also get a lot of questions about where I get some of my paint, like my Atelier and various other tube paints, and I get them from Blick, so I have a link in the description box if you'd like to do your shopping for your paint colors. But I really enjoyed doing this one. I hope that you like it. Let me know what you think. Do you like swipes with this style? I know I've been on a little bit of a negative space swipe kick, but what do you think about these kind of swipes? They're fun to do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and have a great day. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye.